so far in our GitHub Clinic, we've been working with github.com, where we can contribute changes through commits. And when we work somewhere else besides github.com, there'll be a few other steps. We contribute by first staging the work that we want to include, and then committing, and then pushing back to github.com. So what that looks like is, let me say this first, to get our work into this other place besides github.com, we would need to clone it the first time, and then after that, we'll pull it. So this is a lot of sort of terminology and concepts that we'll repeat and practice together. But the main idea is that pulling, committing, and pushing together is called syncing. And those are the steps involved for you to be able to work somewhere else, but have it be tracked with github.com. So what this looks like is, this is the website, github.com, where you'll get this onto your local machine, and local could be your personal Jupyter lab or your Visual Studio Code editor. I use RStudio locally. It could be our JupyterHub too. So it's somewhere besides the GitHub website. And then you stage and commit your work, and then you push it back. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is our JupyterHub, with 2i2c. And the way that what I'm looking at right now is this launcher view, where I'm able to create a new notebook, open the terminal, or make new text files or whatnot. I've also already cloned our Mentors 2022 repository here. So I've got all the files that we had on github.com are here with me, and I can navigate here by clicking into the GitHub Clinic and seeing everybody's files. To edit files in JupyterHub, I can click these. I'm going to go ahead and delete a few things and make an edit. And something I'm going to do too is I'm going to just go ahead and edit errands too, just to demonstrate. So if I open errands, let's say I want to delete everything and start afresh here. So I've been able to edit 2 different files here, which is one of the reasons why working somewhere else is important, rather than just the GitHub browser, is because the GitHub browser, you can only commit a single file at a time. But most often we're working with many different files that might be, part of the same project, or you might be running code that produces different outputs, and you want to be able to bundle those together in a single commit. So that's one thing that you can do nicely. That's one of the reasons to work somewhere else, not only because you can then run R and Jupyter code. Okay, so in order to sync this work, these changes that we've just made, back to github.com, we need to we can do that in a couple different ways. We've installed an add-in here in our JupyterHub that has this little Git icon. And if you click this, this is an interface for you to do those steps we just talked about, to stage the files you want to include, to commit them, and then to push them. So let's just we can review these steps simply here. So the first thing I think to do always is to pull, to make sure that you've got all the most recent changes, and then we'll be able to stage the files and commit them and push them. So in this little interface, you can pull using this cloud icon. And when I click that, it's in the bottom right said pull, and then now said successfully pulled. And I've got all the same information that's on github.com is now here with me. GitHub is able to see that there's 2 files that I have changed locally, and it sees that they're changed, and it's basically asking, by listing them here, it's asking me what I want to do with them. So you can click on some of these buttons. You're able to open the file. Ours already happen to be open. you can look at the difference of these files. So let's have a look at what that looks like. This also gives me this view of like what I changed compared to this head means github.com versus what I've done here locally. So you can kind of review what you've done. And then when you want to confirm that this is something you would like to sync, you can click this little plus button here, and that will add it into this sort of staged area. This is a way to say, like, when I commit my work, this bundle of work, I want that one to be included. Let's say I also want this one for Aaron to be included too. So I'm able to commit multiple files at the same time. So what this looks like, and then I get this little prompt for our commit message. So this is looking like it did, it's familiar with what we just did from the browser. So I can write my message, making edits to demo and Aaron's files. So that's my little message, and then I can press commit. And there's a final step here because I've committed this work and written that message that's a reminder to me, but it still it's not going to automatically become part of github.com. In fact, if we go back to github.com to our repository and refresh, you'll see that that has not shown up. And that's because I need to push. And GitHub, this add-in here in our 2i2c JupyterHub gives us a reminder with that little orange circle. So this terminology says that you want to push committed changes because what we have here is ahead by one commit compared to what exists on github.com. So when I push this, it will say successfully pushed. And then when I go back here and refresh, we'll see that edit show up. So what we can do now is have you give this a try, and also we can talk about what this cloning step looks like so that you can get this on your computer too, and we'll make sure that you're all set up. So I will stop, or maybe I should show you how to do that. Let me show you how to do that, if that's okay. So what you do to clone, to get this into the JupyterHub, which is called cloning, is you will go to the homepage and the main GitHub repository, and you click on this green button, which is to clone, open, or download. So this is going to give a URL that for us will be HTTPS, which is the default, which is great. You can copy this URL, and then you come into your Jupyter lab or into your JupyterHub. I'm going to go ahead and close these things. You don't need to look at them. What you'll do to clone a repository is you'll go back into your file structure and see where you want to clone this thing. So clicking the home button here this is kind of the highest level of your file organization in the JupyterHub, and this is where you'll want to clone all of your repositories that you're going to work on. So you can see this is where I've got the Mentors 2022. It's also where I've got the Cloud Cookbook and the Cloud Hackathon here as well. So once I'm in this home folder that I navigate to from up here, then I can go back to our GitHub extension here, and this will now give me I'm in a folder that is not yet a GitHub repository, and so it's saying, what would you like to do? So this is where I can say I'd like to clone a repository that exists, and I can paste what we just copied from this GitHub URL, and I can say clone. I won't do this right now because I've already got this, but that's what we'll have you do now.